Hello and welcome along to TGP1. It's season 37, it's week 2, and we're at round 3 in Melbourne, Australia. It's a sunny Melbourne, Australia at the moment. We've got cars out on track and we've just got a few minutes left of qualifying. You join us for the second week of this TGP1 season after an interesting week 1 where a reserve leads the championship. He's not here tonight, of course, but it gives a chance for our main drivers to catch up in the standings, and they should comfortably overtake. We've got the main hitters as we usually would have in the racetrack, and we've got the main hitters in the commentary box that you haven't seen for a little while. But Owen Quimby, isn't it good to be back in the comms box for a TGP1 night?
Hello everyone, and it is very good to be back. Apologise for my voice just straight off the bat. Yes, it's not the normal voice. Hopefully it'll be back soon, full strength. We've got about 3 minutes 20 left in this session, and I believe Aidan is on the lap.
Aidan is on a lap. Owen's straining just as much as Aidan's engine's straining at the moment to get around this track. But Aidan is absolutely flying, and he comes around the final few corners. He's currently sat P3, but he's 4 tenths off Matt Tivos, who's our provisional pole sitter. As he rounds the final corner, the Red Bull driver gets on the DRS, and as he hurls his way towards the line, where's it going to put him? It's only good enough for P2. He joins the front row, but there's still plenty of runners and riders to go, isn't there?
Yes, there is indeed. Plenty of drivers left to go here. Just got to try and find another driver that's on a lap. I think
maybe all on. I mean, we've got Theo Hickman, who is just finishing a lap, I believe, and he's just got up into P9. TGP2 champion, of course, and first season in TGP1, and he's doing a good job, isn't he, Owen?
He is doing a very good job at the moment. He's up into P9. He's had some good runs in TGP2 this season as well. Well, the end of this season, shall we say, because that's finishing tomorrow night, I believe.
Tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Luca Chiapelli, another TGP2 champion, is on a lap, and he's found 3 tenths on himself in the first sector. The Haas driver, we're going to watch him through sector 2 now. We're going to go on board with the Haas man as he heads towards this tricky chicane. Does he catch the right-hander right? Yes, he does. He gets a good exit as well, keeps it out of the wall nicely, and as he hurls his way around this long left-hander towards the trickiest part of the track, the fast left-right. He's still 4 tenths up on his personal best. He takes a lot of curb, but gets away with it. He takes a lot of curb and gets away with it. Onto the back straight now, Luca Chiapelli. At the moment, he's finding half a second, which would be enough to put him just on the fringes of the top 10. But he's run a little bit wide as he comes to the end of the back straight, and with just 3 corners to go, are we going to see the Max man jump up the order? Tricky braking zone for the left-hander. He goes in a little bit deep, but he gets away with it. 1 corner to go now for the Max man, and he's lost the back end, and he just about keeps it out of the wall, but it's certainly not going to be the quickest way around this track, and it doesn't find him any time, and it was very eventful, but it didn't get him anywhere.
Yeah, we're just on board with Roy now. Roy's just starting a lap in his AlphaTauri, currently P4 in this session, about, 3 tenths off pole, and he's just coming towards the end of the first sector, and he's a 10th up on his previous best.
Yeah, the AlphaTauri driver, he's giving it all he's got. Roy, obviously, defeated most recently in TGP GT for the first time. Court Gill took the title. Court is racing with us tonight. He's down in 16th and out of the session, so he's not going to be going any higher. But Roy will be hoping that he can, as he comes to the end of sector 2. And he's a 10th up, he's a 10th and a half up, but we've just had Cam pop up into P3, a great lap from the Aston Martin driver, but where's Roy going to go? He's got just a handful of corners to go, and as he makes his way round for the right-hander, it's very neat and tidy at the moment. The AlphaTauri is in a good spot, and if he keeps it together in the last 2 corners, he could find his way ahead of Jack Hickman, but is he going to be in 3rd, and is he going to challenge Aidan and Matt for the front row? 1 corner to go. Stamps on the power, DRS open. Where's Roy going to end up? It's only P4. He lost a bit of time in the final sector. But how's Matt Tivos getting on, Owen?
Matt Tivos is just coming towards the end of the final few corners now. We're going to ride on board with him as he goes through these final few corners. Just got 2 corners left to go. I think he's about a 10th up, but he's got a little bit of traffic towards the end of this lap. Luckily he's peeled into the pits.
The Haas, I think it was, of Luca pulls into the pits, and as he comes onto the main straight, Phil Bargewell's not going any quicker than 8th. Matt Tivos doesn't go any quicker either, but he didn't need to. He already has pole position secure, although unless Jack Hickey can go faster. But at the moment, he's only finding a 10th and a half. The Ferrari driver isn't finding enough. Our reigning TGP1 champion at the moment is down in 5th.
Yeah, he's down in 5th indeed. He's on a 121.3 as you can see at the side of your screen. Just got a couple of more corners to go though. Down to 2nd gear, we've got the telemetry opening and he's going to be wanting to get that DRS open as quickly as he can. Get the traction down and heading down the straight. The lap time is... Oh, he's got the 2nd.
Oh, P2, a great effort then from the Ferrari man. Puts himself right where he wanted to be, and that is it. All our runners and riders, only Wet Lemons left to go, who actually, Owen, he's finding half a second. The man who finished 4th last week, let's not forget, in an amazing race in Imola, found himself in P4 after starting at the back. Where can he start this race? It's unfortunately, he does find time, but it's not enough to move him up any positions. He stays P10.
Yeah, and that is it for the runners and riders in this session. So we've got a front row of Matt Tivos, I believe is a former champion, and Jack Hickey.
Also former champion too.
Yeah.
Former champion, got the reigning champion on the front row. Let's not forget, Matt Tivos currently P3 in the standings, and Jack Hickman had a very difficult opening week to his title defence, down in P10, only 10 points to his name. He'll certainly be looking to get his season started this week, and he tries to push to retain his crown. While we wait for... we haven't got any time to wait for the session to end because Roy's retired in the pit, so I won't come on to what I was about to come on to, which was running through the championship standards. Maybe we'll do that after running through the qualifying order, which we're going to get now. Matt Tivos takes yet another pole position in this Mercedes, and he lines up on the front row next to reigning champion Jack Hickman. Aidan Griffiths, solid effort for him up in 3rd place, and we've got Cam joining him on the 2nd row. Roy, I think, will be a bit disappointed with P5, and John will definitely be disappointed with P6 while his teammates on pole. Dan the Man P7 and Jake in P8. Phil Bargewell P9 and Wet Lemons rounding out the top 10, and then we've got Theo Hickman, Alistair Bain, we've got Ollie, Jack Pearson, and my screen's cut out and I'm not getting there fast enough. Yep, Chiapelli 15th, Kong Altner 16th, Courtgill 17th, Jordan in 18th with no time, Nor Glock 19th with no time, and we had CJH join us later on, who didn't get a chance to set a lap, but he will be in P20.
Yeah, he will be indeed. I was just going to say that I got a message off Softy. He was predicting pole to be a 120.3. I think he was a bit off with that one.
Well, unless that was his personal times, and if that was the case, then I'm glad the reserve driver isn't here. He is, let's not forget, our championship leader, but remember, is only a reserve driver. We'll give you a quick run through the standings before the race starts. Softy, as we said, 1st place in the standings, 37 points. Ryan, 2nd place, 33 points. Matt Tivos, our pole position man, P3, 30 points. Jean-Luc Taylor, then P4, 27, and Roy, then in P5, 21 points. And then we've got Wet Lemons, Phil, Alistair, Theo, and Jack Hickman. Theo Hickman ahead of Jack Hickman after his opening week in TGP1. There's going to be certainly some inter-sibling rivalry going on there, I would have thought. Yeah,
definitely will be indeed as we get ready to go here in Australia for Lights Out.
Yeah, the drivers are ready, we're ready, let's hope you're ready too. And we'll get the little pause now before the start of the race. Everyone is going to be crucially looking for that good start and that run down to turn number 1.
The countdown started again.
I think we've had a bit of a false start there. I think that it's not Michael Massey anymore. He's decided to abort this start.
It's a bit premature, as many things are in life.
Well, yeah, you know as well as I do, Owen, that sometimes things can come earlier than you expect. But I think we're ready now. The drivers are ready. We've got 3, 4, 5 lights in Australia. And we're underway, and my screen is frozen. I can't see a thing, and there we go. We're on the run down to turn 1, and it's a great start for Jack Hickman, who's challenging Tivos into turn 1. Matt tries to hold his own round the outside, then side by side, and Matt spun. Matt spun, and he's round. He's dropped all the way back to the back of the field, and that was after contact with Jack Hickman, who is still under threat from Roy, who's had a great start up into P2. Aidan Staybray was in P3, and we got an Aston Martin off and almost in the wall now. Now being put under pressure from Dan the Man, who himself has had a good start, and the Aston Martin of Cam is tumbling down the order. Phil Bargewell's made his way up to 5th place, and Cam's now going to have to keep an eye on his mirrors for his teammate, as we've got Alistair and Wet Lemons getting awfully close for comfort. But it's a disaster for Matt Tivos, the man who needed to get good points here today to retake the lead of the championship, has found himself down in 17th.
VSC.
We got a virtual safety car further back. I wonder if something went on further down the order, but My goodness me, I mean, we got caught without a front wing, and we've got CJH who's stuck on the line, so no idea what happened to being caught there, but the Alpine is going to have to limp back to the pits. But Owen, what a disaster for Matt Tivos.
It was. He tried to hag it round the outside of Jack Hickey through turn 1. He didn't want to give up the position and concede defeat so early in this race, and it's ended up costing him. He ended up on the grass and round.
Unbelievable. We've lost CJH, who, as we said, didn't get going away from the start. It's Jack Hickman trying to keep some heat in the tyres there, almost found himself facing the wrong way. Are we going to see anyone come into the pits? Yes, we do. Jean-Luc Taylor's coming to the pits, and both Aston Martins are coming to a pit. Disaster in communications there. Theo's in the pit, Kong Hoffner's in the pit, Ollie's coming to the pits as well, and Matt Tivos has stayed out, crucially. Matt Tivos has stayed out. We are still under virtual safety car here, ladies and gentlemen, and we've had the top 12 stay out. Everyone below that has come into the pit, and what's going to be crucial now is to see what tyres they go on. It looks like most of them are going to be moving to the medium tyre, except for Ollie, who looks like he's gone to the softs. But really interesting stage of this race.
Yeah, it is indeed. Just going to have a look and make sure, see who's stopped, see what tyres. Yeah, everyone's gone onto the mediums except Court. He's gone onto the hards actually at the back of the field.
So he has, yeah, you're right. And Ollie going on the softs.
And we're going green.
Racing again. And Jack Hickman's held his own. Meanwhile, Phil Bargewell getting a little bit excited on the back of Down the Man. Are we going to see a move there? Phil Bargewell, he's coming up in our podcast later in the week, but he's up the inside of Down the Man now. Two men who's featured in TGP has a podcast, and Phil's going to try one into the quick left-hander here. Dan didn't want to give it up, but in the end, he had to concede to the Northerner. But Dan is trying himself up the inside as they head towards the end of the back straight. He's got a good run on the Williams, and it seems like the Alpine is going to make his way back up into fourth. Phil's going to try the up and under, but couldn't quite manage it.
No, he couldn't quite manage it indeed. He's going to have to settle back into fifth position for now. But it's going to be a great battle between these two, I reckon, this race. The top three is still Jack Hickey, Jovial Manatee, aka Roy, and then Aidan in third.
Yeah, those three starting to break away a little bit from Dan, who's obviously had to be fending off Phil, as Phil looks like he might be challenging further back. Meanwhile, further back, we got Matt Tivos, who's making a move up the inside of Mr. Chiapelli, is he? No, he thinks better of it this time, biding his time for now at least, but he's going to have to be making moves sooner rather than later.
He's going to have DRS as well soon.
Yeah, he's going to have DRS from next lap. Is he going to try and move down into the edge of turn 3? No, he's not. He's going to have to sit back, but he's not going to want to waste too much time, Owen, or the leaders are going to move even further ahead of him.
Yeah, just going to ride on board Matt Tivos now. It's someone who's definitely out of position as it currently stands. Meanwhile, Phil is still all over the back of Dan. Is he going to try and make a move somewhere soon? A bit of a slide there from Matt Tivos though.
Yeah, Matt Tivos trying to use all the track he can to make his way back up further ahead of Phil. Meanwhile, as you rightfully said, Phil Bargewell still putting down the man under pressure. We've got Chiapelli putting Jackie Pearson under pressure. We've got Matt Tivos putting Chiapelli under pressure. Wet Lemons is in the wheel tracks of Alistair Bain as well. We've got cars close to each other all round the track as Dan the Man picks up a 3-second penalty, running wide at the exit of the quick right-hander. And Phil now does have DRS on the back of the Alpine.
Meanwhile, we've got battle brewing for second place actually. The two Red Bull back drivers, we've got Jovial Manatee with Aidan all over the back of him coming into the DRS for the first time.
Yeah, here we go, on the main straight, first time with DRS. I'm sure we'll see to move Matt Tivos just a couple of tenths behind Chiapelli further back, but we're focusing on the battle for second. Aidan Griffiths in the wheel tracks of Jovial Manatee as Phil pulls out from the inside of Dan the Man, and he's going to go up the inside, and he's got the move done, but Dan might have the opportunity to come back to him. Dan is at turn 3, no he's not! Phil Bargewell has spun and got into the wall! Disaster for the Williams man! He's dropped to the back of this pack, and in a minute he's going to be pounced on by those who have already pitted. It's a disaster for him, and meanwhile in all of that, Alistair Bain has made his way up into fourth place. I think Dan was a little unsighted from Phil perhaps.
Yeah, he definitely was indeed. Alistair up into fourth, so another good day for Red Bull as it stands.
Chiapelli's out. Chiapelli is retired from the race.
Safety car.
It's just at the end of turn 5, and we have a safety car. And those who pitted under the VSC will be seething in their helmets because the advantage that they gained has been wiped away in just over a lap's time. And John, Cam, Jake, Theo, Kong Hoffner, Hart, and Court all lose out on the advantage they gained in that VSC.
Yeah, they do indeed. But might not be the end in the world. They might still be able to gain some positions on some of the stragglers who didn't pit under that safety car, but it's not as good as it could have been.
Well, obviously all the drivers are keeping to a delta at the moment, so not a huge time gain to be had, but we're surely going to see the top 11 peel into the pits now, all those who didn't pit. Jack straight in,
Yep.
and they're just tunnelling themselves in. Let's keep an eye on John. John is obviously the highest placed person who has already pitted. We've got the pit stops already going ahead. Drivers peeling into it's a very, very slow pit lane here as well to remember. Wet Lemons has picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I've done it many a time before, my friend. So, John then is coming through the penultimate corner. He hasn't got a helmet on. I'm sure he'll get penalised for that at some point. As in the pits, obviously there's a little bit of movement because there are a few drivers double stacking.
Right,
John, now down the main straight. Where's Jack Hickman? Jack Hickman has left the pits. Roy's come out. Aiden's come out.
He's come out P4.
But where's Dan going to come out? Dan has hit the gas, and I think he's going to be 6th. Yeah, so I think actually in all of that... Owen, John hasn't really lost out because I think on the road he would have been 4th anyway after that Dan and Phil incident. Yeah,
it seems like it's actually just kind of equalled out. Actually, Cam's gained a couple of positions thanks to all that because he had a poor first lap.
Yes, he did. Yeah, ended up on the outside of turn number 4, you're right. As the drivers follow the safety car now, it gives us time to have a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a break, and reconvene as to where we were. So let's give you a quick rundown of the order then. We're on lap 5. We've had a virtual safety car, we've had a safety car. Not for two particularly big incidents, I have to say. But nonetheless, the race director has felt that we needed them, so let's give you a rundown of the order. So first place, Jack Hickman, who started on the front row and took the lead in the first corner from Matt Tivos, who was on pole position. But as you'll find out, he had a bit of a disastrous lap 1. Jovial Manatee, also known as Roy, P2. Aidan Griffiths is in 3rd. Jean-Luc Taylor is the highest person who pitted during the VSC we had at the end of lap 1. He's on 3-lap old tyres, but in P4 at the moment. Cam is P5. Dan the Man P6 with a 3-second penalty. Wet Lemons P7 with a 3-second penalty. Alistair Bain then in P8. Big loser in all those pit stop, having to queue behind his brother. Jack Pearson P9 and Jordan P10 rounding out the top 10. Then we've got 11th Jake Davies. Then we've got Matt Tivos at 12, who, as we said, spun at the start of the race at the end of the beginning of the opening lap, while battling with Jack Hickman, came a cropper and spun around. Then we've got Theo Hickman 13th, Glock in 14th, Phil Bargewell down in 15th after his spin just a lap ago. Colm Hoffner 16th, Ollie 17th, Court Gill 18th, CJH, who has been able to rejoin the race, in 19th, and our only retiree so far is Mr. Chiapelli.
Yeah, it is indeed. So yeah, Matt, just looking at the position change, I've had that on the screen for a little while now, but Matt Tivos, as we've said, because of that spin at the start, down 11 positions from his starting, as Phil and Colm Hoffner are back in the pits again. And Ernst Jordan is the big gainer at the moment, up 8 from his starting position.
Yeah, well, he's doing alright at the moment, we have to say. So Phil and Colm Hoffner have pitted to put the softs on, as has CJH. We've got how long have we got left? We've got 10 laps left of this race, including the one that we're on. So the safety car should be peeling in at the end of this lap. So we've got 9 laps of racing. That's a long way to take those soft tyres, isn't it, Owen?
But that is, especially around Australia. That I know in previous games, I'm not so familiar on this one, but in previous games it was a bit of a soft tyre killer, this circuit.
Well, I feel for sure that Glock, Phil Bargewell, Colm Hoffner will all be hoping that the soft tyres do last. Well, we'll all have to see what happens. As I said, we're expecting the safety car to come in at the end of this lap. We'll get back under racing again, and we'll see what sort of restart Jack Hickman put together with two-time TGP GT champion Roy Scorer just behind him. We've got some big names in the championship this season. Safety cars in. We've got some big names, some big egos. And we've got a lot of people who are going to be thinking they've got a chance in the championship here, but they've got to be making points up in these sorts of races. And Jack Hickman at the moment is the man making those points up, taking 25 points as things stand. He's slowing the field down well. He's doing it early, but when is he going to go? Surely he's not going to go until the last moment. You would have thought on a track round Australia, it's difficult to overtake, and he does not want to give Roy any sort of opportunity, and certainly not very early on. Roy's going to be keeping an eye on his mirrors as well for Aiden. He can't afford to have a bad restart. Jack Hickman maybe taking a bit of his experience from last season when he won the championship in this. He's gone early, and maybe caught Roy out a little bit because he's got Aiden all over the back of him. And Aiden is really well placed here to make a move into turn one. Obviously no DRS yet, but as they head through the final corner, it looks like it's going to be Aiden who's going to be making the move. As they're on the run down to turn number one now, Jack Hickman is well clear, but Aiden can't make a move onto Roy as they head through turn one. Further down the order, it doesn't seem like anyone else is close enough to make a move yet. We've got Jake who's picked up a 3-second penalty further back. As we head down towards turn number 3, we've got Cam getting interested in the back of Sean. Is he going to try and go around the long way? He's not, but he's going to try the old switcheroo, the whippity-wop flop shot, and he's not going to get it done. Sean shows him outside, and Cam picked up a 3-second penalty for that as well, for track limits. And now he's going to be watching his mirrors for Dan, and as they head towards the end of turn 6, Dan is close enough. And we got Jake out the race. Disaster for him. And I think he's crashed at exactly the same place that Luca did. So we've got a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2 at the end of the first sector. Meanwhile, back at the front, Jack Hickman, still your race leader. We've got Matt Tivos, who at the moment has only made up one place, and that was because of Jake's spin and crash.
Yeah, it was indeed. He's only made up one place, but yeah, he's making his way through this field. Meanwhile, this battle for P4 is quite something to watch.
Yep, Cam really isn't leaving Jonas alone. Jonas would have been hoping that he could get his head down and start making inroads on the podium places, but he's doing the opposite of that. He's keeping his head in his mirrors as he's watching an Aston Martin appear more and more readily, or should I say greenerly, in his rear view mirrors. And Cam is in a really good place to challenge into turn number 1, as we had Wet Lemons also lose it into the wall. Jonas protecting the inside line. Is Cam going to go the long way around? He's going to try it, but surely not. Surely he's not going to get that done. And Jonas runs him out wide, but he didn't have the grip. And is Dan going to get interested now? This is dropping them so far back the battle for third. Cam thought about a move but couldn't quite do it. Dan runs a little bit wide, and that opens the door up for Lemons, who thinks better. Right. Meanwhile, further back, we finally got Matt Tivos going on the attack, but he can't get past Jordan and still finds himself in P11.
Yeah, he does still find himself way down the order after that poor start, but this battle for 4th is really something quite amazing. What is it, 4 or 5 cars? Cam, is he going to try and move inside this corner? Yes, he is. He's got his nose up the inside.
And John gave him the squeeze. A bit rude from the man from Harlow there, but they come out of it still facing the right way. I would have thought Cam would be entitled to a bit more space, but John thought otherwise. As they head their way through the fast left and right hander now, Cam still without DRS is going to have to think about a move soon enough, because now Dan the man's on the outside of him, and the attacker goes to the attackee, but Cam just about holds on for the time being.
Yeah, it's great scrap. 4 cars. You've got Sean, Cam, Dan, Lemons pretty much nose to tail. You can throw a blanket over him.
Oh, there's contact, and Dan the man touched the back of Cam, and in turn Lemons touched the back of him. It looks like they might have got away without damage, but now we're going to have DRS Owen.
Yes, we are indeed. We've got Wet Lemons, Cam, and Sean's actually managed to pull just enough of it out to be able to sneak away. A big slide from Dan. Is that going to let Lemons have a move on him?
Well, as we head down to turn number 3, the Haas driver is going to look to the inside. He's going to be late on the brakes. Dan closes the door late, and they just about make it around the corner as they were. Matt Tivos, meanwhile, has dropped a position behind Glock. But all this battling going on between these drivers is keeping this train going, and it's making it longer.
Yeah, it is. This train is basically pretty much the whole field from 4th to 12th. There's only a few drivers not in this, and someone's
we've got Jordan round. Jordan's round. He's in the wall, no front wing, disaster for the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, disaster for him. Meanwhile, the good thing about these drivers being so close with some of the drivers behind is people like Alistair, Jack, Glock, Tivos. There's a few drivers in front of them with a load of penalties.
Yeah, let's not forget, Cam 3 seconds, Dan 3 seconds, Lemons 5 seconds, but meanwhile we got Cam on the outside of Jean, and this time the Aston Martin driver with the assistance of DRS, he makes the move stick, and a wonderful move from him round the outside.
Yeah, it is indeed. Great move round the outside at the end of the back straight. Meanwhile, Dan is now all over the back of Jean. Cam, I think, may just get away now. He's already pulled out 8 tenths. Meanwhile, Wet Lemons as well. Yeah, Lemons as well.
down the main straight. He's right on the back of Dan, but he's not quite confident for trying to move into turn one. It's a very difficult overtaking space. But Jean's struggling. Jean is really struggling. Jack Pearson, unsurprisingly, has picked up a 3-second penalty. But Jean has now got to watch his mirrors for Dan, who thinks about a move up the inside. But Jean's gone deep, and the Alpine is alongside and around the outside. Are we going to see a move from the Liverpudlian? Yes, we are.
Lemons.
Super stuff from Dan up into P5, and Jean has almost drops behind Lemons as well. Does he? He does. John is dropping like a fly.
Yeah, he is. He lost 2 places in that exchange, trying to give Dan the room. Meant he compromised his exit coming out of turn 4, and that just gave Wet Lemons a sniff of the opportunity and make the move as well.
Yeah, and now he's going to have to watch his mirrors for Alistair. Jack Pearson dropped back a little bit from this battle that is now starting to close up. He's got Glock and Tivos all over the back of him. Meanwhile, further ahead, Aidan Griffiths is still giving Roy a bit of a headache. It's just half a second between the two of them, and Cam's closing in, and Lemons is out. He's crashed on the beginning of the back straight. He was running so well, but he's out of the race. We've got another virtual safety car.
Yeah, it's so easy to make that mistake though. Coming out of that corner, the car is very much off balance. You got the weight transfer coming through. That second king, you touch the curb wrong, and you're just instantly round.
Yeah, so it's going to be a pointless race for Haas. Unfortunately for them, both drivers out. Are we going to see the drivers pit? I think it's a bit late.
Yeah, I think it's a bit late in the day now.
Just starting lap 11, so we've got 5 laps to go in this one, including the one we're on, and this is a good time for a virtual safety car for the drivers like John. As you know, he was on the back foot. He was being sort of come at from all directions, and it's a good time for him to just regroup and try and focus his energy forward. Try and get back onto the back of Dan, the man's Alpine, but he's got a very feisty Scotsman behind him, and at the moment we've got another very feisty Scotsman right behind him, an equally feisty Irishman in the battle for second. Are we going to see a move here, do you think?
Well, yeah, I think, well, the thing to worry about as well is Cam. He's closed right up to the back of these guys under this VSC. I don't know how legitimate that is at the moment, given the VSC conditions.
He was starting to close up before the VSC came out, but we've been on the VSC for almost a lap now, so you would have thought it's going to come in at some point soon. They must have cleared that.
There we go.
Aidan's going to have the RS as well on Roy. The run down at the end of the back straight. Are we going to see a change for second place? No. Aidan is gaining, but not enough. And further back, Matt Tivos day goes from bad to worse, and he picks up a 3-second penalty, but has got past Jack Hickman. Not Jack Hickman, Pearson. Yeah,
I think that would be an insult to Jack Hickman saying that he's passing Jack Pearson for 9th place.
Anyway, onto the main straight. Aidan is as close as he's ever been. Let's go on board with the Red Bull driver. Down towards turn number 1. Roy defends the inside. Aidan's going to have to go the long way. Is he going to brave around the outside? He is! The two are very good friends, but they put it all on the line there, and they're still side by side. On the run down to turn 3, Roy again protects the inside line. Aidan's going to have to go the long way, but Roy, for now at least, does just enough to keep that second place.
And Cam is now all over the back of him, and Dan's closing it as well. This could eventually be a 4-car scrap for P2.
Meanwhile, something's happened to Jack Pearson. He's just lost 2 places to Tivos and Glock. Tivos all over the back of Glock as well. It must be said, surely going to line up a move sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, our
side by side.
Oh,
sorry, I was just watching Tivos there. He nearly got squeezed into the wall there by Glock. That was a bit borderline, shall I say, from Glock looking at that.
Jack Pearson still dropping, Owen. But I tell you what, this is now a 4-car battle for the podium. There's only 2 podium places and 4 cars who all fancy themselves to be up there. Aidan is going to have to turn this attack into something meaningful soon enough, or he could end up off the podium. The only saving grace for Roy and Aidan, the other 2 drivers have got penalties.
Yes, that is. Cam and Dan both got 3-second penalties. I've got the penalties up on the screen for all of you watching at home to see what drivers have got what penalties at this current time. You can see a lot of the lower end of the field have got 3-second penalties at this time as well.
Well, here we go, down to turn 1. Aidan's still not close enough. Not as close as he was last lap, but surely he's going to be lining up the move into turn 3. He's as close as he ever was. Roy is surely going to cover the inside line. Has Aidan got enough battery left to challenge? He's going to have to go the long way again. Roy is doing a fantastic defensive job, but Aidan's going for it. He's fed up of waiting. He's going to be on the inside into turn number 4. There's a little bit of contact, and somehow Roy still holds on to that second place.
He does indeed. Meanwhile, Theo's had a misdemeanor further down the field, but this scrap is very much heating up. We've got, what, 2.5 laps to go, and it could be anyone's, this podium.
Well, we've got about 4 drivers in a second of each other. I can't... we don't need rule changes. This is great stuff. We don't need F1 2022. Let's keep on this. Aiden, frustrated behind Roy, who just doesn't have the pace at the moment. Jack Hickman has just sodded off to 5 seconds almost his race lead now. But as they come onto the back straight again, Aiden is he just has to do something different, because at the moment he's got Cam all over the back of him and they're still not close enough to make a move. Jack Pearson picks up yet another 3-second penalty, but Aiden, he's spending more time in his mirrors than he is looking ahead of himself.
Yeah, indeed, he's got Cam all over the back of him. Cam is in the pound seat, as they say. He's got a great view of Roy and Aiden battling in front of him. Dan's not actually really giving him that much pressure at this current time, as we head on to 2 laps to go here in Australia.
Here we go on the run to turn 1. Aiden thinks better of it. I think he shouldn't have done. I think he should have gone for it, because now he's got Cam in the best position he's been. Cam almost loses it on the curb on the exit. Roy once again protects the inside. Aiden's going to have to go the long way. Roy's late on the brakes, and there's contact. The 3 of them are side by side, and Roy's in the wall! Roy's in the wall, and Cam has made his way up to 2nd place. And it all started because Roy outbraked himself, but it's a disaster for the AlphaTauri team. We had an AlphaTauri in the wall earlier. Now we've got one dropping down the field in 11th place, and Cam has somehow ended up in 2nd after all of this.
Yes.
But Owen, it looked like it was going to come to blows, and it did, but perhaps not in the way we thought.
No, not in the way we thought. We thought it was going to be Aiden and Cam having the accident. It ended up being Roy, Aiden and Cam. It ended up being all 3 of them. But the saving grace for Aiden is if he can keep within 3 seconds of Cam, he will still finish P2 in this race.
And let's not forget, Matt Tivos has just made him up to P6. He does have a 3-second penalty, which at the moment would only drop him 2 places. But not a bad sort of, what's the word looking for?
Recovery drive.
Conspicuous recovery. You know, he hasn't done anything daring. He's just done what he needed to each time. And he's right on the back of his teammate at the moment as well. And I wonder if Mercedes is going to be on the radio to John saying, get out the way, son. Get out the way. Let our man come through. Because if he can gain 3 seconds, he's not going to lose many points in this championship. Meanwhile, we've got Aiden, we've got Dan picking up. Oh, and Aiden's gone round! He's lost it on the last lap! Disaster for the Red Bull driver! I can't believe it! No one wants to finish on the podium in this race! Roy's picked up a penalty further back as well, and now it's John who's looking likely for the 2nd place. And we could have Alistair on the podium. We thought we were going to have a Red Bull on the podium, but not that one.
Yeah, not that one indeed. And Sean is just inside Cam's 3-second window as it stands, but he's got pressure from behind, so I think Cam might be safe in that P2 now. But I was saying, Aiden, all he had to do was keep it behind Cam and keep it on the road, and he had P2 there.
Unbelievable, and Aiden now under serious pressure from CJH. CJH, he didn't even get going off the line. This man's going to finish in P7 now, maybe even a little bit higher if penalties go his way. Unbelievable stuff from the McLaren driver. Meanwhile, we've had a man, Matt Tivos, sorry, is all over the back of Jonas, but doesn't quite get it done. But we're going to have to cut to Jack Hickman, because he's got just 1 corner to go. He had his fair share of drama early on in this race, but has kept his head down ever since. And the Ferrari driver, our reigning world champion, is back on top of the podium. Ferrari win in Australia. Cam is going to come home, and he is going to take 2nd place. John is going to finish in P3. And Matt Tivos ends up P6 behind Dan the man.
Yeah, he just didn't quite have enough. I think he needed to get past Sean to have any chance.
Oh, we've got Ollie. He's in the wall before the line. No. He lost it at the last corner, and with just yards to go, he misses out on points. Disaster for him. Oh goodness, that's heartbreak.
That is heartbreak indeed. Misses out on a good points finish. And that is that from the Australian Grand Prix. That was a thriller, weren't it?
Owen, I need to lie down. I started this standing up. I sat down for the midpoint, and I am on my tiptoes now. What a race we've just had. CJH, rightfully the driver of the day. What a performance from him. But Jack Hickman just had it all in control at the front. A really solid job from our reigning champion, let's not forget, who's put himself right back in the hunt again after a disastrous week 1.
Yeah, disastrous week one for Jack Hickman, but he's redeemed himself. He controlled that race from start to finish. Had a little bit of argy-bargy with Tivos at the start, but that's classic turn one, I would say. That sort of thing.
And let's give some credit to Cam there too. You know, this man was almost in the wall at the end of lap one. He picked up a 3-second penalty. He finished second there, Owen. How has he done that?
Pass. Just pass. That's all I can say.
Really, really solid effort from all the drivers out there. What a race we had. Let's give you a rundown of the order then. So Jack Hickey, our race winner. Cam joining him on the podium, P2. Jean, after having no pace, P3. Alistair, P4. He'll be disappointed with that, I think, despite starting 12th. Down the man, P5. Matt Tivos, definitely disappointed with that, P6. CJH, a great recovery, P7. Aidan Griffin's P8. Roy, P9. Jordan rounding out our top 10. And then missing out on points, Jack Pearson. Then we got Glock, Phil Bargewell, Kong Hoffner, and I can't go down any further. Yes, I can.
It's cool. Then we've got Ollie Hart, who DNF'd, Theo DNF, Wet Lemons DNF, and Jake Davis and Chiapelli round out the DNFers.
Goodness me. Goodness me. Where do we start? How do we unpick that race? I think we've got to start. I'd like to know your opinion if I could. What do you think about lap 1, turn 2 with the leaders?
Coming off the exit of turn 1 in turn 2, he's kind of Jack was up the inside, quite clearly up the inside, got the better start. Matt Tivos trying to hang it around the outside. Jack kind of gave him a little shove onto the grass, but to be honest, trying to hang it around the outside turn 1 is always asking for trouble at that corner, wouldn't you say, Mike?
I think it is. I think you're right. I think that it is. You've got at the start, you know, the car's not at its most nimble. You know, you're putting a lot on the line at such an early stage in the race. You know, when you're trying to win a championship and you're up against someone who's had a pretty poor start to the season, they've got nothing to lose, Owen. They've got nothing to lose. Jack Hickman had nothing to lose that turn 1. He ended up in the wall. It's a bad weekend again. It's a bad week again. But he's got another race to go. But after his first week, he was going to be gunning for that win. That's all he was going to be focused on going into turn 1, is taking the lead and just getting his head down and going from there. And I think Matt should have known that. And maybe that sounds a bit critical, because we would have hated it even more if he'd given that place up and just settled for second coming down to turn 3. But I think he had to be wise there. He had to see the situation, read the situation better, and not lose out as much as he did. Because at the end of the day, he would have lost second maybe if he just come off the power and tucked in behind Hickman.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's one of those things where you have to just cut your losses, live to fight another day. And if he'd just tucked in behind, admitted defeat at the first corner, look, you've got 14 and what, 3/4 laps to go and try and overtake him again.
I think that Matt Tivos will be annoyed with himself. I think he'll be annoyed with Jack. Obviously, we haven't seen his footage, but I mean, it was definitely a racing incident. Not situation in terms of the race at the start. We've got to give it a little bit of leeway. But from what we saw as well, I'm definitely going for a racing incident with this one. But I think Matt will be annoyed with himself when he sees that back.
Yeah, I think he definitely will be indeed. Be very annoyed at himself. But we've got another race here tonight in around the Shanghai International Circuit where he can come and redeem himself.
Well, he's going to have to. You know, let's not forget he's lost some huge points in the standings. All in all.
I just want to correct you on something, Mike. I know you said points, I think, went down to 10th. They go down to 12th by the look of it, not 10th. So there was 14th, sorry. So
Joe Sayer point system.
Yeah, Joe Sayer point system. So yeah, there's a lot more drivers picking up points compared to last season, which I believe was the top 10 last season.
Wow. Well, we've got an interesting race coming up, and as you said, Shanghai International Circuit. It's a circuit you can race at, isn't it, Owen? I think that's the good thing about this. You know, we've had some cracking TGP1 races in the past. I even won here a few seasons ago. You know, it just throws up a good result every now and then.
It does indeed, and I'm just going to quickly reference my softy pointless pointers. So give me 2 secs while I find them. And it's a wet start to this qualifying session by the looks of it.
Wow.
Well, that throws his pole prediction time out the window, because he was saying it would be a 30.3 or 4. But if it's wet, that's not going to be the case.
Well, this throws a bit of a curveball. This, I don't think many drivers would have been thinking this would have happened. I'm saying that and hesitating because it just throws the form book out.
It does indeed, yeah. It's into tyres for the whole field. That's what the game is suggesting, by the way. So I don't know what the conditions are, whether it's going to dry up towards the end of the session or whether it's going to stay like this. We just don't know.
Well, well, I'm quite excited for this now. More excited than I was. We've got drivers coming out of the pits. We've got Alistair out of the pits. We've got some drivers who are quite far around. Actually, Ollie is the furthest round, so he's going to be the guinea pig for the rest of the field, I would say. It doesn't look that wet.
No, it doesn't.
It looks very wet in the pits, but on the track, I mean, I've probably got a bit of a glitch because I'm not seeing any spray, but it doesn't look particularly wet.
I'm not seeing any spray either, but I think just looking at the track surface, it is probably into conditions. It's on probably it's probably just wet enough for inters, but it's not kicking off a huge amount of spray.
I've gone on board now with Ollie, and the rain is hammering down. It is. Could we end up with wet tyres?
I think there's a big window for inter tyres on this game. We found that out last week in Imola. Unfortunately, there was no stream for that, but in Imola last week there was a big window for those inter tyres to be used in qualifying. It was pretty much half and half for most of the session between wets and inters, despite it being absolutely sodden the track. So we're going to go around the final corner on board with Ollie Hart. And are you free to take us through a lap of this?
I would love to take you through a lap of this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see just how difficult it is. We're on board with Ollie Hart, the McLaren driver who missed out on points by driving into the wall with a matter of yards to go in Australia, and as he attacks turn 1 with slightly less vigour than he would in the bone dry conditions, and he's just feeling that throttle around the long turn 1, drops down the hill for 2, and careful on the power now as he exits through to turn 3, the tail kicking out a little bit, and as he drops down towards the end of sector 1, we'll get our first idea of how the drivers are getting on. Obviously he's purple, not a surprise there, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he gets on with these next 2 corners. Fast left coming up now. You've got to be committed, but in the wet weather, he lifts off halfway through the corner. He had a little confidence lift. He's on the brakes now for the right-hander, and he's starting to catch some traffic as well now, the McLaren driver. These 2 tricky left-handers that just invite you to go on the power when you really shouldn't. And as he comes towards the end of sector number 2 now, he may get a nice little toe off of the Ferrari and the Williams, I think, that's in front of him. And as he works his way now onto the snail, I think is the easiest way of describing this corner. Long right-hander just frustrates a driver as they're trying to get on the power up through the gears, and as he gets into the main straight, of course, no DRS in the wet weather conditions, and as he heads towards the biggest braking zone on the track and the tightest corner, we'll get a bit more of an understanding of where he is. He has got traffic up ahead, which he'll be hoping will get out the way for him. It's Theo Hickman, who hasn't done so yet. He got on the brakes very nicely there, Ollie, I have to say. And he's going to follow Theo into the final corner. Theo obviously not wanting to compromise his lap. Keep it between the lines, Ollie, as he does so, and up to the line we've got our first lap time of a 1 minute 44.4, which I think could be about to be beaten, yes it is, by Phil Bargewell, a 1:43.9, half a second in the Williams driver's favour.
Yeah, just have a look at Matt Tivos now as he comes through the first sector. He's about the same looking at it as...
My goodness me, clock has gone over a second faster!
Oh my giddy arms.
He's done a 42.8. The Alfa Romeo driver, I don't know if he was Moses, did he part the seas, but that's something else.
Fair
play to you, Star.
I wouldn't say he's Moses. I'd say more like Jesus. He is walking on water.
He certainly is, Owen. He certainly is. Let's see how Matt Tivos gets on at walking on water. We've got more drivers putting in lap times. Matt Tivos, he's not purple. He's not purple. That lap from Glock is quite something. I mean, you know, has Tivos given up on this lap?
No, I think he is still pushing, trying to get a banger in, but that is...
Jack Hickman's a second off him. What? What has Glock eaten between these two races? That is unbelievable lap time.
That is quite incredible. He must be just really comfortable in these tricky conditions, unlike some of the other drivers in this field.
Well, Cam's gone second.
He's gone within a tenth.
He's gone within a tenth. There we go. Maybe the driver's starting to find some grip. Certainly Matt Tivos isn't. He's only got P8. We've got Theo Hickman still to set a lap time, but he's come around the final corner now. Ollie is then behind him, who's the first driver to set a second lap time. Theo Hickman goes 10th.
Ollie hasn't improved.
Then we had Phil Bargewell, who hasn't improved.
Yeah. I'm just looking at some of the guys that haven't set a lap time yet. CJH is on the back straight and Jake Davis isn't too far.
Sorry, Owen. Glock's coming to the line now, but he hasn't improved. What an interesting start to the session.
Yeah, very much.
If the rain hadn't whet our appetite, this grid at the moment certainly will do. Aiden's gone up. Aiden's improving. He's just improved. He's got P7.
Yeah, just waiting for these couple of guys that haven't set laps yet. CJH puts himself P13. What about Jake Davis? He's just coming into the hairpin now for you, Mike, and he's ran wide. So he might be backing out of this.
Yeah, Matt Tivos is finding 8/10 of a second further back, and he needs to. He needs to find 8/10 of a second. At the moment, that would move him up to P3.
Yes, it would.
It would have done, but Jack Hickman's just improved by about half a second.
Yeah, but that's still quite a phenomenal pace. Glock and Cam have set right off the bat in the first couple of laps of this session. They're about half a second clear of anyone else. And Jack Hickey is half a second clear of anyone behind him as well. So there is
Let's see how Matt gets on. He's running low on fuel, clearly trying to keep the car little, so we'll probably see him peel into the pits, mouth work. As we come up to the line, Matt Tivos, he goes third. A 1:42.9, that's more like it.
That's on the pace of the front two. He's now part of that front little group. But everyone else has got some work to do to keep up with that three.
Jack Hickman's not finding time. Owen. He's a 10th down with himself in the first sector. Phil Boswell is coming to the line now. He can't improve. Jean, how's Jean getting on? Jean's finding about half a second at the moment as we speak.
Okay, shall we go on board with him?
Straight. Oh, he was, but he's run wide. Glock's gone faster! He's gone faster, Owen!
He has indeed. He had a little bit of a toe from Jack Hickman, actually, towards the end of that lap. So maybe an inadvertent toe.
I think it was Theo. Sorry, it was Theo.
Okay.
Jack Hickman's just coming onto the main straight now.
Okay, so it was a Ferrari, just I was getting my Hickmans confused. One is very much older than the other one.
Yeah. Cam's going to be coming out of the pits very shortly to start his second run. Only done the one lap so far. Jack Hickman then. Just one corner to go. He was the 10th down himself in the middle split, and he's in. He's bitted.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just out of curiosity, Mike. What sort of strategy do you think's best for these wet qualifying conditions? Do you go with the stick a load of fuel in and then just burn it off and get quicker and quicker as you learn the grip of the track, or do you just keep doing like a normal qualifying session, do one run in, that sort of thing?
I think you've got to build your confidence. You've got to build your confidence in conditions like this. You're learning from being out on the track. You're learning all the time. You're finding where the grip is. Dan's retired from the session. Disaster for him. 14th he's going to be at best. Jeez. You've got to build your confidence. And you will only do that from just lap after lap after lap. And then once you've got your confidence, with a few minutes to go, dive into the pits, put a bit of fuel in to maybe do 2 laps. Give yourself 2 laps at the end of the session. Your confidence is at its highest. Your fuel is going to be at a good level, and you can get your head down and get on with it. but I don't think you can approach this in a normal qualifying session. But Cam is probably about to prove us wrong, who's on his outlap of course, and probably about to go quickest. And I'm going to look like a complete muppet who doesn't know what he's talking about. Which I don't, really. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it makes for good entertainment for everyone.
I mean, there's a reason we're in the commentary box and not on the racetrack at the moment, Mike.
Quite right. You're quite right. Let's keep an eye on Cam then. He's on his outlap, of course, as we mentioned.
Yeah, he's just letting some traffic by at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's Jovial Manatee as he's letting through.
Yeah.
He's down in 15th.
Yeah, he's on an outlap as well. No, it's not Jovial Manatee, it's the other one. It's Jordan. Yes.
Final corner. Are we going to see him complete an apple time with the pits? He's going to complete this man. And where is the man who's currently P9 going to go? He goes P6.
Okay, and Cam's come straight back in off his outlap.
Wow. I did not expect that. We've got Jack Hickman and Matt Tivos who've just gone out. I wonder what Cam's doing. Maybe he's put too much fuel in.
He's either done that, or I did spot, looking down the back straight, just looking at that long shot, it did look like there was sort of a drying line. Maybe he's going to think about slicks.
Well, now that would be quite something. Someone who isn't thinking about slicks is Aiden, who's just had a spin. Ollie Hart's coming around the final corner. He's gone wide. He was 3 temps up. Ollie, get your head down. Oh, I would have moved him up a place. Have we got anyone on the lap at the moment?
Yes, we've got CJH is on the lap as well. He's on the back straight.
As is Theo Hickman. Theo Hickman's just ahead of CJH, so let's keep an eye on the Ferrari driver at first. He's a temp up on himself, the number 2 driver. TGP2 champion. The tightest margin ever in TGP2 history. There's a single point in it. Won it on countback, ladies and gentlemen. Countback. Dom Smith, the unlucky party, who hadn't won a race all season. Theo Hickman up to the line. Is he going to improve on his 44.7? Yes, he is, but only just.
Yeah.
CJH is pitted.
Yeah, CJH.
I hate to say I told you so, Owen, but...
oh, did you now? I'll tell
Jack
you
Hickman,
what.
though,
Yes. You beat me to it. That was exactly what I was going to say. Jack Hickman just starting to fly now in his Ferrari, currently P4, about half a second off the pole of Glock.
He's a second off the pole.
Wait,
he's a second off the pole.
Yeah, I will have to say, Cody's great idea putting purple on black. I can't see what the time is. It's a 42.5. Thank you for that.
Jack Hickman sets up in sets 1, and he needs more than that. He needs more than that. He needs to find the grid, find wherever Glock has put his car, someone, because this is just unbelievable. Is this going to be Glock's first pole?
Oh, don't ask me.
Message me. Glock's first pole? Question mark.
Jack
Hickman, meanwhile, coming through the second sector.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I just had a flick at Matt Tivos and he had a massive slide coming out of turn 6.
Hey, Jack Hickman, purple, sector 2. He's getting his act together. He's walking on water. He's channeling. He's in a Christ. And the man coming onto the main straight now. No DRS still, and he's going to get a good tow from his brother. Oh, this is well timed. Ferrari planning this well.
Yeah, very well timed indeed from the Ferrari boys. Very in sync like they were in Bahrain this past weekend, that Ferrari team.
Under braking then. He can't get it wrong. I almost thought Theo Hickman was about to plough into the back of his brother then. Just a corner to go. CJH has gone soft. CJH is going to go on the softs. We've got a few minutes left of qualifying. Jack Hickman then. Round the final corner. Just about keeps it in the lines. But it's not good enough.
No,
it's fourth still. Where did this time go? We got a tow, man.
Yeah, CJH hasn't left the pitch yet, but he's thinking about softs. I think looking at these conditions, he's maybe looking at going out right at the very end, one lap, and hope he has the driest track, but I don't think he's going to get close enough.
And I'd just like to thank Softy. This will be Glock's first pole. If he does secure this, it will be his first pole position. We've got drivers coming out and outlaps again. Majority going for the intermediates. I can't say I blame him.
Well, he actually said Flock's first pole to me, so congratulations, Flock. Yeah.
So, a flock of Glocks.
Yeah. Oh, a flock of Glocks, that just sounds like Felipe Massa's nightmare after Brazil 2008.
Jack Hickman's got great pace in that middle sector. He's just gone purple again. He's creaming up to the back of a Mercedes, who I believe to be Jean, because Matt Tivos is in the pits.
Yeah, it have to be Jean.
So, high downforce setup, that clearly suggests.
Yeah, I'd say that he's got a grip in that middle sector, but he's losing it down the straights, especially this long one. It's nearly a kilometre long, I believe, here at Shanghai, this back straight, which could hurt him in the race if it is dry. We don't know the conditions yet, though.
No. So just 2 corners to go then. Jack Hickman, he's got 7 tenths to find to take pole. He's got 4 tenths to find to be on the front row. Across the line, he's on the front row.
Front row, yeah, he's found.
I tell you what, less than 2 tenths off a pole. Good lap from Jack Hickman.
Cam's
on an out lap.
Yeah, Cam is on an out lap. I want to see how long's left in this session. We've got a yellow flag currently, which...
Pretty sure we've got 2 minutes left, Owen.
Okay, thank you for that. I can't see because there's a yellow flag that seems to be permanently up on my screen, so that's helpful. But yeah, we've got about 2 minutes left and no one's risked it on the dry tyres. I didn't think anyone would, to be honest.
Jean isn't improving in sector 1 so far. Jordan also not improving. Phil Bargewell just completed a lap and just started one. Jack Hickman got come through the middle sector. Lemon's not improving. Aidan Griffiths P10. Roy Scorer P12. And he's not really finding very much time out there. Only half a temp through the middle sector. Yeah,
I'm still watching Jack Hickman. He's on a flyer yet again. He's going to be pounding around for the rest of the session. The guys that are coming out for one flying lap and he's 7 tenths down, so this is not a good lap for him. Cam is just starting a flying lap.
Yep, Cam through the long turn 1. So, what can this man do? The man who, up until just a few minutes ago, was the closest challenger for Glock, now starts what will be his final lap. At the end of the sector 1, what is the Aston Martin done?
He's 2
purple.
tenths. Yeah, 2 tenths up. Looking very good for Cam. Just waiting for who's going to be next. I reckon that pole position is probably going to be one of this top 4, just looking at the times already set in this session, Mike.
Yeah, well, Cam then feeding his way through the middle sector. Matt Tivos still on an out lap. He's going to want to get that lap started soon before the checker flag falls. He's just coming around the hairpin by the looks of my map at the moment, so he should get round in time. Cam then, he's a 10th up, but he's lost a bit of time. It's not coming to him. It's not coming to him.
Unless he's got a lower downforce setup, maybe he's compromised that middle sector. That's gone.
He's lost it. He's lost it, and he's not going to be on pole. It's going to be 3rd at best for the Aston Martin driver. And our attention's turned to Jack Hickman.
Yeah.
Who's that? Hickman even. And guess what? He's purple in sector 1.
Yeah, he was about a 10th up on his best in sector 1. That's good to see. Tivos is probably going to be the next one to set a flying lap after this, and then it'll be Glock.
Tivos is 2.5 temps up in sector 1.
Okay, so
2.5 temps.
I'm going to keep
Glock,
with Jack Hickman for the time being, as he's furthest round the track.
Yeah, Glock is just coming to the end of sector 1, so let's keep an eye on those 3. The 3 big players, we think. Glock has found a 10th in the first sector.
Oh, Jack Hickman's... Jack, sorry to interrupt you, but Jack Hickman going through sector 2, only 4 thousandths up.
It's not coming to him. It's not coming to him, and he's got what looks like Roy Scorer, I think, in front of him. No, sorry, it's Jordan. Jordan moves to the right-hand side of the track. Matt Tivos through the second sector. I don't have a split time for him. Not a clue.
Okay.
Jack Hickman's the man we'll focus on, though.
Yeah, he's just coming up to the hairpin now. He's got a couple more corners to go. Normally that middle sector in previous laps was his best point, so I don't think he's going to improve. We'll have to wait and see what it is on the line, though, just to be sure.
One corner. He's invalidated. He's invalidated his lap. Disaster. Matt Tivos is the next driver we'll see. He's 2.5 temps up, but at the moment that's not enough. He was purple in sector 1, but he barely found any time in that middle sector. 1 corner to go. He needs to keep it in the lines. He just about does it. 1 short run to the line. He can't do it by 1,000th of a second.
Wow.
1,000th of a second.
Well, I think Glock is going to improve, though. Glock is going to improve. He's a 10th up. He's cut across the line now, and he's improved.
Oh, well done. Well done, Glock. That is a fantastic qualifying. And well done on your first pole position in TGP1. That is thrilling. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah, well, these qualifying sessions in the wet do really separate out the boys from the men, wouldn't you say, Mike?
Oh, completely. You know, I think we've just seen a great example of that, haven't we? You know, Glock just got it together, didn't he? He got together what he needed, and he got it together just so quickly. He just seemed to click with the track so quickly.
He did. He was the first one to set quick lap times, and he's pretty much stayed at a quick time. He's probably the only driver I think who didn't set a time in the 43s. Every lap he did that was a flyer was in the 42s.
Yeah, very consistent. He put that fast lap in to begin with, and you just knew, you could just sense that he just got something that no one else had yet. I don't really know how, but Christ, quite literally. Glock takes his first TGP1 pole position for the Alfa Romeo team. Matt Tivos is going to join him on the front row, his closest challenger. Jack Hickman threw away his opportunity right at the death to improve. He'll start P3. Cam is going to be P4. CJH, good qualifying for the McLaren driver, P5. Jean, P6. Court Gill jumped up to 7th. That's it. Aidan Griffins is going to be P8. Jordan is going to be in P9. Phil Bargewell 10th. Wet Lemons just outside the top 10, 11th. Ollie in 12th. Jack Pearson 13th. Roy 14th.
There we go. Alistair 15th.
And then Jake Kong. And probably
some people.
I know Chiapelli was down there somewhere.
Yeah. Some drivers in some cars is probably the best way of putting that.
Yeah. Quite a murky looking race.
Looks dry though. Does look dry, which will be...
At the moment.
They hadn't had any sort of weather updates from the weather systems.
If you're a man from Norfolk, you know that those sorts of clouds are going to mean rain.
They do, if you're over the sea.
Well, Shanghai is, I'm presuming, a certain distance away from the sea.
Or it is smog.
I agree, it could very well be some smog, but hey, let's see where we go. We're going to have a good race. Enjoy.
We are indeed. We're going to have lights out any second now.
Well, here we go. 2, 3, 4 and 5 lights. Long way and we're underway. Glock doesn't get a very good start. Immediately jumped by Matt Tivos, who is streaking ahead in the lead. Nothing happening for Glock, who's going to be challenged from Jack Hickman as well. Cam's going to try something, and around the outside, Ollie Hart has jumped up to 4th, but I think we've had multiple drivers jump at the start, and Ollie Hart certainly one of them. He's up to 5th at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of people jumped the start, including race leader Matt Tivos. A lot of people jumped that start there who are going to have to come in for a drive-through.
Yep, and we got John making a late lunge, and we got an even later lunge from CJH, and somehow they all remain with their front wings intact. But Matt Tivos, as you said, Owen, leading the race, but with a drive-through penalty.
Well, to go through all the drivers, we've got Tivos drive-through, Ollie Hart drive-through, Jack Pearson drive-through, Kong drive-through, Dan drive-through, Roy drive-through.
Wow. Did not expect that. I thought Glock had just had an appalling start. I'm sorry, Glock. It was actually very reasonable. Matt was just too quick for his own good. It was a long time those lights were on. Not surprised why we've had a few people full foul, but it will be the crucial thing now when people serve their penalties. Down the main straight then, we've got drivers off in the back and we've got a spinning Haas, and I think that's Luca Chiapelli.
It is indeed. Meanwhile, Cam is up the inside of Jack Hickman, and he's going to take that P3. We've got Sean and Ollie Hart battling behind as well, but Ollie Hart has got a drive-through to serve, and they're just about sorting themselves out, are they? Yes, as Matt Tivos is coming for his driving.
Whoa! Goodness me! Cam, he always ended up in Beijing. He was that wide coming through the last corner.
Yeah, and he's lost the place.
Jack Hickman back through.
Yeah, Jack Hickman back through, up into P2 after that wide and leery exit from Cam. He done all the hard work down the back straight, and then he's cocked it up at the last corner.
Disaster for the Aston Martin driver. We've got all the drivers who jumped the start in the pits now. Matt Tivos just left the pits. So to give you a bit of an understanding of where he is in relation to the leader, 18.5 seconds behind where he was just now. Disaster. Yeah. Another first lap disaster.
Side by side.
Win a championship. No.
Sorry, Cam and Jack Hickey were side by side, and Cam has got the move done into turn 7, I believe. So Cam back up into that P2 now.
Good stuff from Cam. good solid races so far. Jack Hickman's going to have to get his head down and get going. But they're only 2 seconds behind Glock, who is just... He's doing a good job. CJH has picked up a penalty already. We're only on lap 2. But Owen, I know there's still got a lot going on in the race. Matt Tivos, he's fighting for a championship. He's had 2 races where he's made 2 mistakes in the opening lap. That is not the form of someone who's going to win a championship. He can't be doing that.
No, he can't indeed. He definitely can't be indeed. Meanwhile, I'm just looking further back and Mr. Chiapelli is following Theo, who's weaving down this back straight. I don't know, it's not IndyCar, lads.
Well,
oh, that was a bit...
He's going around the outside. Oh,
yeah.
And there's been a contact. And the 2 that have had some history in TGP2, going wheel to wheel, and Chiapelli does make the place up somehow, but he's gone very wide.
Yeah, he has, but Theo is all over the back of him once again. We've got Phil Bargewell further up the field, all over the back of John. But is Theo going to try and go round the outside? Oh, he's ran wide. That's going to gift the door. Oh no, he's still there.
Neither of them giving an inch, and in the end, they've lost a lot of time, and they were as they were. Now, meanwhile, Jonas is having a disastrous night and is being put under all kinds of pressure from Phil Bargewell. These 2 already need 5 seconds off the race lead. They're only on lap 3. Cam is closing in on Glock. Cam's got some pace. He could challenge Glock, but I don't see anyone else at the moment.
No, I don't see anyone else getting close to Glock, to be honest. Meanwhile, like you said, we've got Sean, who's soaking up more pressure. If he soaks up more pressure tonight, he's going to become a sponge at this rate. Jesus.
Yeah, he is, and he's going to be a very full sponge. But I kind of get the feeling that Phil is about to bring him out. And as they come onto the main straight, John's got quite a good exit actually. We will have DRS this lap. We've got a yellow flag further back. I think we've Dan the man has spun. And as we come down the end of the main straight, Phil Bargewell, is he going to make a dive? Is he going to make it? He is going to make a dive, but it was so late. How did he keep that in the track limits? But John sneaks back by.
Yeah, that was just wiser heads prevailing there. He kind of baited Phil into going for that dive from there. I think he knew he was probably going to go for it, and John just thought, you know what, you can have that inside and miss the apex of the corner. But Phil's coming back at him into turn 1. He's got the move done.
Wow. That was good stuff from Phil. Matt Tivos has come into the pits early to switch off of his soft tyres. Cam's picked up a penalty. He can't do that, Cam. That's just chance of a race win potentially gone. I'm afraid.
Yeah, that is indeed. That is his chance at race win. I think he needs to keep it tidy to have any chance of catching Glock. Passing him, and he's not really even catching him. He's staying at about 1.7 seconds, that gap currently.
Glock's got the pace. I think you know he got his head down to begin with. Let's not forget tyre wear is pretty poor around here, and these drivers are going to be, thankfully for them at least, they're all on fresh tyres, obviously from the wet qualifying that we had. Let's see how tyre comes into it. Phil has already pulled a second on Jean.
Yeah, and Aiden is getting very close to the back of Jean as well. So, yeah, Jean, I don't know what's going on tonight. He just seems to always be finding himself at the front of the queue.
Yeah, he's at the front of the queue and he doesn't have a ticket. And in a minute, he's going to have someone realise that and barge ahead. And that next man's going to be Aidan Griffiths. And let's not forget, Wet Lemons isn't too far behind as well, but they've got a big gap then back to court. We've got Cam who's come into the pits. Cam has gone early, lap 5 he's coming to the pits.
Yeah.
No, even that, it was lap 4, end of lap 4.
Yeah, he's got to go 10 laps on those mediums. If he goes for mediums, I believe he will. But yeah, he's gone for mediums. That's a long way. The CJH has picked up another time penalty. He's already picked up 6 seconds worth of penalties. He's got more time penalties than he has laps completed, so that's quite an achievement.
Certainly is. Cam comes out P12, 3 ahead of Matt Tivos and about 15 seconds ahead of Matt Tivos as well. Really not going well. Theo's still being put under pressure from Chiapelli, and there's nearly an accident actually between the two of them in the hairpin. Meanwhile, John still being put under pressure. Aidan Griffiths is the man doing it now. Phil isn't getting away from this battle though. But we are now on a lap where you would tend to see pit stops happening.
Yeah,
this is more of a conventional lap for the pit stops.
Oh, big slide there from Aiden. That's just going to open the opportunity there for Wet Lemons down this back straight, down the long straight. If he can get that traction down Wet Lemons, he might have a chance. Well,
sorry
that's
there,
me.
Owen.
No,
Aiden,
no worries. They did indeed, and now Wet Lemons is riding on board with the Haas, going down the back straight. Is he going to try and do a fill and dive out the inside? No, he's going to bide his time.
Is there contact? There's contact, wasn't there?
I didn't see because I went off the onboard and it gave me a rear view as everyone's peeling into the pits now, apart from Jack Hickman.
Yeah, Jack Hickman stays out. Jake Davies spun further back on the medium tyres, losing a couple of places. Something's happened to Matt Tivos as well. He's dropped so far back. I think he must have spun. He must have spun.
Well, he had that drive through as well and pitted early, didn't he?
Well, I mean, you say that, but he was right with Jack. And something's happened to him. Something's happened to him. Bad to worse.
Meanwhile, just looking at the front, we're looking at Cam, and Glock has come out in front of him, but the gap has closed slightly. He's gone down by about 4/10 of a second compared to what it was, and there's a yellow flag for someone spinning in sector 1.
Is it Aiden?
Don't know, but it's been cleared now.
It looks like Aiden might have some damage, and I think he's just pitted. Yes, he does. No.
It's an interesting one. Either way, we have got.
Hey, Owen, the sun's coming out.
Oh, see, you should just listen to me. Wow. I said it wasn't gonna rain. You should have listened to what I was saying.
There you go, viewers. Trust a man from Norfolk on the weather. Yeah, but just not when they predict the storm. Anyway, Glock, he's got Cam right on his tail, 7/10 behind, and he is focusing on Jordan in front of him. And this is the worst possible time for Cam now, because in a minute he's going to cream past Jordan like he's probably about to do. And if Cam has got a good opportunity now with 2 DRS zones back to back as Jack Hickey pits, Cam could not lose as much time. But Cam will need to get past, because not only has he got to get past Jordan as quickly as possible, he's then got that 3-second penalty to worry about.
Yeah, he has got that 3-second worry about Jordan's pitted anyway, so that's one. That's a big slide. That is a big slide indeed. Luckily, he held onto it. But yeah, like you said, Glock creamed past Jordan on that back straight. It's just old tyres versus new tyres, and the more you say creamed, the more I'm just going to laugh like an immature child. Yeah,
I'm sure you are. Petulant type child, is a phrase I would probably use. How did Cam keep that facing the right way around that last corner? That was something else. Wow, fair play.
We got a battle
looking back, Matt Tivos into the points. Wet Lemons still behind Aiden Griffins. No change there in the order over pit stops.
No change indeed, but it's quite close. We've also got a bit of a battle actually for 12th place brewing between the two AlphaTauris and Dan the Man. This is the bottom end of the points.
Jordan, who's just pitted. Roy's having an anonymous race. Nearly end up on the podium. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2.
It's Jake Davis.
Jake Davies has lost his front wing. He was off earlier in the race. And it's off. Oh, Matt Tivos has spun right next to him. Matt Tivos has spun around. It's gone from bad to worse for the Mercedes driver. I just cannot summarise his night tonight. Every time I seem to commentate, when I'm in a race that I come to the commentating race he's racing, he has a shocker. Sorry, Matt, I'm your bad luck charm. But I struggle.
Meanwhile, on the back straight, Aiden is having to defend quite hard from Wet Lemons. Wet Lemons to the outside. Is he going to try and go all the way around? No, he isn't. He's going to try and get the swoop and maybe try and go for a move into turn 1.
Yeah, Corgill, our race leader, just over 4 seconds ahead of Glock as well, but he hasn't pitted yet. Right, that was a little bit right around the last corner.
Yeah, he's not going to have a chance.
Not going to give him the opportunity.
He's just not going to be close enough into turn 1. I think if he didn't get that poor exit, he might have had a shot into turn 1, but the poor exit meant he's had to wait another lap for an overtaking move on Aiden Griffins. This is the battle for P7 and PA, which I believe will be 6 and 7 once Court has pitted.
Yeah, meanwhile, Dan the Man still putting pressure on Roy as Jordan starting putting pressure on Theo just ahead. And then we've got Wet Lemons. And Jake Davies in the race. He's retired in the pits. That's what you need to do. Well done, son. Exemplary TGP member.
Yeah. I think the big surprise so far, as we see actually Jordan all over the back of Theo now. watching this battle for P9 and P10. Is he going to try and go round the outside? Yes, no, maybe, no, not quite.
Theo seems to be really struggling. He's gone wide again there, but his tyres are only a lap older than Jordan's, but it seems like he's on completely different set and he's been on them the whole race, but he hasn't. The only man who hasn't pitted so far, so there's 3 men who haven't pitted so far, Court, Roy and Dan.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, Wet Lemons all over the back of Aiden once again, going to the outside. I think he's going to have the move done. Yes, he does, and that is Wet Lemons up into P7.
Better late than never. Better late than never from the TGP.
Theo's got Jordan back as well, further down the field.
Yes,
you can see on the ticker.
Side by side. This is bringing Roy and Dan into the mix. This is a great little scrap now for 9th place. 2 of these drivers haven't actually pitted yet. Are we going to see any of them peel into the pits now? No. We've got a yellow flag. Sector 2 and 3. Kong Hoffner, I think, has just had a little spin. Teammate of
Jordan round the outside. Jordan and Theo round the outside of each other. It's going to try and hold on, and that means Roy is now all over the back of Jordan. This is a 4-car scrap for P9. It's going to be P8 once Court pits, I believe. Court, I think
and
it's just tough.
Aiden's back ahead of Wet Lemons. The 2 are side by side as they head towards the fast left-hander. Aiden's going to try and hold it round the outside. Is he? Surely not. Surely so. Aiden Griffiths.
No,
what
it's
a
not
move.
done
Back
yet.
up into
Now
P7.
it is, yeah, great move there. We've got to ride on board with Wet Lemons, see if he can get a move back. We got 2 key battles. Shame they're not further up the field, but it's great battles to watch nevertheless, Mike.
Yeah, excellent. Wet Lemons outbraked himself a little bit there. Disaster for him. That loses his opportunity for a run onto the main straight. Theo Hickman back behind Jordan. Oh, I thought he was going to go for a move there, Aiden. Not Aiden, Owen.
Yeah, well, cheers. I'm now Aiden, apparently, despite it's Aiden racing and commentating. That is quite some special skill.
And Matt Tivos has now joined the back of this scrap.
Oh, this is just getting better and better, this scrap, isn't it? He really is the cork in the bottle, Jordan and Theo. These 2 squabbling at the front is just inviting everyone else in. But unfortunately, I think the way this game works and the DRS trains, it's so hard to get past people once you get stuck in one.
Yeah, and the 2 McLarens joining in the battle as well now, it seems. Matt Tibos on his recovery drive, still waiting for Roy and Dan to pit, still refusing to pit. Matt Tibos then all over the back of the Alpine with much fresher tyres despite a spin. Surely he's going to fancy his chances. Meanwhile, Roy is making a move on Theo, is he? No, he couldn't quite get it done. Tried to go the long way round. Dan held on to that place ahead of Matt Tibos as well.
Yeah, meanwhile Court has had his pit stop and actually rejoined ahead of this squabble, which would be very thankful of, and on soft tyres. How far behind?
Look at Dan.
Yeah, look at Dan. We've got the Mercedes.
Look at Dan. Look at them all.
Look at any driver with some
Dan
wheels.
Sent one. Dan sent one up the inside of Roy. The 2 of them are still side by side. Our commentary pair for TGP2 as Matt Tibos up the inside of Dan. They get frightfully close, and the Mercedes driver, has he got the move done for P12? No, he hasn't. Dan just about holds on, but Matt hasn't gone away, and he now sides up the inside into the double left-hander, and Matt has the position.
I'll tell you, someone to keep an eye on is Court. He's on those soft tyres and he's gaining ground quick on that squabbling duo of Aiden and Lemons.
I cannot get over this battle for 9th. No, it's not now because Jordan's got away. It's for 10th. It's for 10th place, Owen. It's for 10th. We've got 6 cars who are giving their all for a few points.
Yeah, I don't know which battle to look at. We've got the battle with the 3. We've got Theo, Jordan, Roy, whoever, drivers, cars. Everyone's just squabbling left, right and centre.
Oh, Matt's gonna get them both. Theo just made a move up the inside of Roy, pushed him wide, contact between Matt and Theo, and as they head towards the last corner, Theo's not giving it up, and Theo spins. He should have given it up, and his stubbornness has cost him dear.
Yeah, meanwhile Court is all over the back of Lemons and Aiden now, so I think it's only going to be a matter of time before he goes for a move and passes. Is he going to go for a move up the inside of turn 6? No, he thinks better of it.
He thinks better of it, doesn't he?
I think he knows he knows he's got the grip. He's on those fresh soft tyres. Everyone else is struggling around on medium tyres now.
The problem is he's got Aiden is about 7 seconds behind John, and the Court is a very good driver and he's very quick and he's trying to go up the inside of Wet Lemons there. Surely not, no. But I don't think he's going to get higher than 6th at the moment. No. I do have that concern.
No, meanwhile, I think that battle's calmed down now as Jordan's pulled a bit of a gap, Tivos has pulled a bit of a gap, so it's now Roy is now the cork in that bowl.
Still hasn't pitted. Neva's down, involved in that. Meanwhile, backward court and oh my goodness me, Lemons! I thought he nearly spun. I don't know if he was just jinking to break the toe or what, but it was a very sudden change of direction. But Court's coming, and Court moves to the inside, and as they head towards the back of the main straight, Court has moved up into 7th place.
Yeah, he has. He's got the position up in 7th place, and he should be able to challenge Aiden now and get up into that P6. Meanwhile, the drivers, I think, behind CJH has gone past Roy. Yes, he has. But yeah, if we've got drivers who had those early drive-throughs, I think they're hoping for a safety car, which hasn't come in this race, which is a bit of a surprise. Oh, and when Lemons is round.
Yeah, Lemons round. Goodness me. Disaster for him. Meanwhile, Court is right on the back of Aiden then. And is he going to try and move down into turn 6? Aiden sort of defends thin air there, really.
Theo's out.
Theo's out. Glock has got a 3.5 second lead, and well, we're watching Court. Roy has finally pitted. Dan still hasn't, but Court, with Chip Helly's now retired, Court is surely going to breeze past Aiden in a few moments' time.
He is indeed. He's going to wait for that back straight, use the superior traction through the snail section that leads onto that back straight, and then he's probably just going to breeze past him with DRS.
Yeah, we're about to probably witness that now. Alpine versus Red Bull as they head onto the main straight, and we're about to find out how much Aiden has got left, but I don't think he's got enough to fight. He's covering the inside line, but here goes Court. He's going to have to go the long way round, under braking. Aiden tries to keep his nose in. It gets very, very tight. There's contact, and Court somehow... They were both nearly out, weren't they? They were both nearly off.
Yeah, and they're coming on to 2 laps to go now. Court, he knows he's going to get past Aiden at some point, but when there's another person out of this race is Kong. So there's a few drivers dropping out in these final few laps, Mike.
Oh, I was about to say, Court needs to get inventive, and I thought he was about to be then, through turns 2 and 3, but it seems that's what he's going to have to do. I think Aiden is just too much of a smart racer to just let him go easily. And Owen, what do you think? Do you think Court's going to just be able to do it easily down the main straight this time, or is he going to have to get inventive?
Well, I think he'll do it easy if he gets a good exit out of that snail section. How much life has he still got left in those soft tyres? Yes, they've got a bit more grip, but if they start falling off, they do fall off quite quickly around this circuit.
Yeah, well, we're about to find out. He's tucked right up behind Aiden Griffiths. No room between them. No room between them. Aiden hanging on those medium tyres. I say hang on, I mean, this is only their 7th lap they've been on, but obviously caught with a tyre advantage and younger tyres as well. You would have thought
bit of a wobble there from Aiden.
Not having any of it.
Yeah, Aiden had a bit of wobble coming onto the straight, so not even before DRS I think Court is going to have him. Aiden's not one to give up a position though. He's going to get his elbows out and maybe try for a move. Is he going to stick it back over the inside? No, he isn't. He's conceded his position, realised, you know what, Court, you've got the grippier tyres. I'm just going to settle for 7th place, unfortunately, here.
Yeah, and as they're coming around then to start their final lap as well. Aiden still hasn't given this one up though. He's going to have DRS now on the main straight. Is he going to try and move into turn 1? I'll tell you what, he probably thought about it.
Oh, he's still
quite close enough.
Yeah, just not quite close enough, and I think Court on this exit will pull some sort of gap, and I think he'll be less under pressure. Jack Pearson's picked up penalties. That's not really a surprise, let's be honest, as we move on to Glock, who's just been supreme, and we've not really talked about him up the front.
No, we haven't really needed to talk about him. We said his strategy should be get his head down and get on with it. We thought he was managing the pace to begin with. He was. Roy's picked up the fastest lap. I think he's taken that away from Court.
Yeah, he has, but he's not going to pick up any points for that though, because he's outside the top 14.
Yeah, but what a controlling, mature drive that Glock has put in. He didn't jump the start when those around him did. It would have been very easy to do so. And Owen, just a couple of corners to go. He's completed a masterpiece He's managed everything he needed to. He didn't get flustered, and with just a corner to go, Glock, he takes his 10th TGP1 win. A great win for the Alfa Romeo driver. Cam's going to come home in second, and he will keep that because, well, oh no, he won't. He ran out of fuel. Disaster. And Jack Hickman claims second. It's a first and second place tonight for Jack Hickman. Phil Bargewell comes home a very low-key fourth. We barely spoke about him since the early exchanges. Jean, despite his pace disadvantage, fifth. Court, great sixth place for him. Aidan Griffiths is going to come home in seventh. Wet Lemons, despite his spin, will finish in P8. Jordan, ninth for AlphaTauri. Matt Tivos, P10. CJH is going to come home very briefly 11th, but overtaken by Ollie Hart. And there's a huge crash as Matt Tivos has crashed on the main straight, actually. Jack Pearson will be 13th. Alistair Bain 14th, and we've got a battle on for the for 15th place between Roy and Dan, the last pitters, and as they cross the line, it will be Roy 15th and Dan P16.
Well, I can tell with those two at the back, they were just hoping and praying for the safety car after those drive-throughs at the start. That the safety car that never came as Phil Bargewell gets driver of the day.
I think that's deserved. You know, he said it was a quiet affair, but he did a good job. But there he is, our race winner, Glock, with his 10th win, and he's looking out for the competition because they were nowhere near him today. Great win for the Alfa Romeo driver, good result for the team as well, and that's certainly going to help him in the championship battle. It's close. Jack Hickman's picked up the most points tonight. Cam just behind. Who knows what's going to happen for the rest of this season?
Yeah, who knows indeed. We've got, what? It's a 20-round season this season, I believe. So we've had 4 races. We've got another 16 left to go. And with the championship leader going into tonight, not being here, well, who knows?
It's huge. It's huge. Let's give you a rundown of our classified order then for China. Glock comes home, the race winner, led from pole. Jack Hickman, a good P2 for him. He'll be pleased with that. Cam P3. Phil Bargewell in 4th. Jean P5. Court, great P6 for him. Aidan P7. Well, Lemons P8. Jordan in P9. Matt Tivos P10. He'll be, well, this is a week to forget for him. Ollie in P11. CJH P12. Jack Pearson 13th, and Alistair Bain, the last point, in 14th, with just Roy and Dan, the classified drivers, not score a point. We had Kong Hoffner, Chiapelli, Theo Hickman, and Jake, who all failed to score. Owen, thoughts, comments, concerns tonight's racing?
Well, I think we had 2 very good races tonight across the 2 circuits. Australia was a ding-dong battle. We had that long train that Jean just seemed to be at the front of for how long? Maybe what, 6-7 laps at least, where he was just sitting at the front of that train after this safety car. And then in China, a very clean race actually had to be said. No safety cars in China, and there was a decent amount of battling throughout the field, especially towards those lower end of the points. Well,
I tell you what, I was thoroughly entertained. I hope the rest of you were too. Takeaway points for tonight, Owen.
Takeaway points tonight, Pizza, Domino's and Papa John's.
Domino's.
No, seriously, takeaway points tonight. So Glock had a very strong showing tonight. Cam had a decent show.
Does this put Glock into a championship contention, this race? Or does this one race alone not do that?
I think if he can get the consistency going, I think he could be in the title fight. But I think the man who's kind of been quiet all night, he won the first race, and Jack Hickman quietly snuck up to 2nd place in China. He's had a very strong night, and he's done very well for the reigning champion.
Yeah, quiet week 1, but you know, almost maximum points for this week. You can't count him out. Cannot count him out. Matt Tivos. What do we say? He's frustrating because he's so quick, and you know he can put a really good race together, and it's just so frustrating watching him consciously or unconsciously throw it away. I don't know, maybe I'll be a bit harsh, but you know he should be doing better. As a former TGP1 champion, he should be doing better.
Yeah, I think he should be indeed. But hopefully he'll learn from his mistakes tonight, move forward, and hopefully he can go ahead later in the season and be a real challenge. Because what we really want to see in TGP1 is just as many drivers as possible fighting for wins every week.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly agree. Well, Owen, it's been a great entertainment. Thank you for joining me in the comms box again. We'll look forward to next week, where hopefully we'll have just as exciting racing. We had two cracking races tonight, two good races, and I think the drivers did themselves proud. I think we had some good, clean racing. It was on the limit at times, but we like that. We don't mind it being on the limit as long as it's not pushed beyond the line. Anyway, we will see you next week. We're racing in Portugal and Monaco. Really looking forward to having you join us there. Owen, any last words before we sign off?
No, I think we'll be looking forward to see how the season progresses, and we will go from there.
Yeah, excellent. Well, this has been TGP Series. I've been Mike Noon. He's been Owen Quimby. TGP Series production. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, but for now, we'll see you on PS4.
See you on PS4.